Whether you have ADHD or not, figuring out what's important to you and how to fit it all in is really difficult. I often joke about my own life and how I feel like I'm working about 10 jobs. And when I reflect back on that, that's not even really an exaggeration. I mean, I see my own caseload, I run a group practice, I train new therapists and residents, I teach, I write books, and oh yeah, I'm also the host of this podcast. And despite the fact that all of this is true, sometimes the hardest part of my day is figuring out where I can squeeze in 5 minutes to get a little sun or even to eat a meal. The point here is that it's a really common problem to have a hard time managing time. This is ADHD where we talk about everyday life and ADHD. I'm Dr. J. I'm a psychologist who treats those with ADHD. And today we're talking about ADHD and time management. Time management can be particularly challenging for women, and it's important to understand that this is a common experience. There are several reasons why this may be the case, and learning about them can help us in finding strategies to make it better. First, ADHD affects the brain's executive functions, which are crucial for planning, organization, and managing time. This means that prioritizing tasks, starting and finishing projects, and also managing time can be a lot more difficult. It's not a lack of effort or desire. It's about how your brain processes information and tasks. Women often have to juggle multiple roles and responsibilities, such as work, family, and social obligations. This added complexity can make time management even more challenging. The expectations to excel in various areas can create additional pressure and stress, which can exacerbate ADHD symptoms. Another aspect is that ADHD can make it difficult to focus, which may mean that you notice that you are easily distracted or that your mind wanders. This can disrupt your workflow and make it more difficult to complete tasks efficiently. Emotion regulation, another executive function, plays a significant role as well. Stress and anxiety around time management can make it even harder to stay motivated, organized, and focused. It's also important to consider that women with ADHD are often diagnosed later in life compared to men. So what this may mean is that you've spent years developing coping mechanisms that aren't as efficient as they could be. Understanding your ADHD and finding strategies that are tailored to how your brain works can make a really big difference. Remember, it's not about a lack of willpower or effort. It's about finding the right tools and strategies that support how your brain functions. It's okay to ask for help and take the time to find what works for you. Managing ADHD is a journey, and with patience and the right strategies, you can improve your time management skills. Now let's discuss a few simple tips to help with time management. The first is to prioritize tasks. So what you want to do is identify the most important tasks and tackle those first. So what I mean is, if you have a task that is of high importance and it has an impending deadline, that is the thing that you would want to do first. If you have something that is important, but it's not due for 2 months, then what you would want to do is schedule time to work on that task so that you don't fall behind. If you have something that is of low importance and it doesn't matter when it happens, those would actually be the lowest priority. The next tip is to set goals. So you want to define clear, achievable goals for your day, your week, and even your month. This will help you to stay focused and motivated. If you want more information about this specific topic, Go back and watch my episode on perfectionism where I talk about SMART goals. The next thing that I'll mention is to break down your goals into manageable steps. Whenever you do this, you want to assign the amount of time you think it'll take for you to complete that task. The reason that I ask you to do this is it's very common for folks with ADHD to have a difficult time estimating how long something takes. For example, I have a dear friend with ADHD, and they told me that they were going to fully assemble an 8-drawer dresser in 90 minutes or less. Suffice it to say, at the end of that time, they were only about 30% done, and we had a good laugh amongst the particle board and Allen wrenches. Once you've completed the designated step, go back and make note of how much time it actually took. Engaging in these types of practices will aid in improving your time estimation ability. The next thing I'll mention is to use a planner. So whether this is a paper planner or a digital calendar, having a visualization of your workload will make it a lot easier to stay focused, stay on task, and not to overbook yourself. Along with using a planner, I would suggest time blocking. This is essentially where you allocate specific time blocks to go along with specific tasks. This can help you stay focused and avoid multitasking. Lastly, take breaks. Believe it or not, regular breaks can boost your productivity. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you work for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, are actually very effective. That's it for this episode of ADHD And. What's a method that I mentioned that you plan to try? Or if you're already utilizing some of these strategies successfully, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this episode of ADHD And. I'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. This show is brought to you by Understood.org, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering people with learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Learn more at Understood.org.